How can your company streamline data modernization for AI readiness with Qlik and AWS? Find out in this exclusive interview at AWS Energy Symposium. Leading strategic partnerships, we have Chris Cash, Strategic Account Manager, and joining him with AWS is Ankur Kheterpal, Senior Solutions Architect at AWS. Qlik is doing data differently. You're transforming data into actionable insights through unique associative engine. Chris, can you tell us more about analytics, data integration, and AI-driven decision-making with Qlik?
The exciting thing for me is that, Qlik has arrived at the perfect time, and we have been working on, the evolution of our platform to give our customers a modern ability for managing data and getting their data ready for AI. Focusing on the analytics side of the equation here is, you mentioned the associative engine, and that's something that's very different and unique about Qlik. As opposed to a curated tool or a business intelligence sort of static report, that feature of our analytics platform is really about a many-to-many full outer join. If not to get too technical, and that's probably more better for Ankur, but we bring all the data into memory, and so it causes our customers to reap the benefits of a very performant interaction with their data. And so that's why customers choose Qlik, is so that they can interrogate the data, they can ask questions of the data, as opposed to just reading a static report. And so that is a key part of the offering. And then when you talked a little bit about getting the data off source systems, I mean, that is a common challenge, but especially in the oil and gas space, there's many transactional systems that are generating tons and tons of structured and unstructured data. And Qlik, together with AWS, has the ability to get the data off about any source and deliver that data in real time to just about any target, and providing those real-time insights at the point of decision is a critical difference maker for us.
Absolutely. Getting data and then making sense of it and using it in an actionable way makes just the biggest difference in a company. When we're looking at the partnership between Qlik and AWS, Ankur, I'm curious to know your thoughts. Why is this such a natural fit for a partnership?
Absolutely. So, of course, our industry is dealing with massive amount of data, right? Coming from various sources. But it's so hard for this data to come together at one place, and where AWS's suite of AI tools can act on it. And that's where it's a natural fit. We need that data in a certain format, in a certain place, and that's what Qlik brings us.
When we're looking at the transformation of utilizing data, when companies are going from a legacy system and migrating to the cloud, I mean, that's a massive undertaking. What are some key challenges that companies face whenever they're going through this migration?
That's a great question, Jordan. The way I think about it is, the reason that any company does anything is to make money, save money, or reduce risk. And so when a business leader is trying to modernize their environment to reach those key metrics, to save money, make money, or reduce risk, it makes sense for them to reap the benefits of adding machine learning and artificial intelligence into their business.
Absolutely. So when we're looking at them undertaking this massive feat and then it working well in their favor, what are some key outcomes that come from that migration?
On the key outcomes, like for instance, I'm going to go straight into a specific use case, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We work very similar to the way the AWS works, in terms of starting with the desired outcome and then working backwards from that. What's the key milestone that needs to happen, and what's the dependent activity that needs to happen to ensure that we get to the successful outcome? And so, for instance, one of our customers was having downtime at the drill site, and being able to track sensor data, that is tracking the the heat of the downhole drill bit, and be able to deliver the right part at the right time at the drill site, it can be a challenge. And so the ability to have real-time data that's tracking those sensors to dispatch the right part to the drill site, to understand reducing mean time to failure and uptime of the production, that's a key win for any business.
The way we see this, right, in terms of business outcomes, once we have the data in the format we need, things get more streamlined. Like we spoke about before, this data is, we have, the industry is running on a global scale, right? And that requires a lot of regulatory restrictions and a lot of regulatory paperwork needs to be done. So everything needs to be streamlined in that regard. And once data goes through our AI ML portfolio, operations have much better view into the data. They have much better actionable insight into the data, like what you said. And the possibilities are endless. We have seen that customer is using this data for anomaly detection, for natural language processing, for handling predictive maintenance. So all this data together, all this partnership together is making that a possibility.
What are some key challenges that businesses face outside of what you've just mentioned that Qlik can help alleviate?
So the one thing we've seen, especially in the energy space, that they have one of the most complex environments that they have to do business in. Mm-hmm. So oil and gas entities and operations, they have to combat geopolitical forces. They have to combat regulatory. They have to combat the current tariff situation. There's just a myriad of things that they have to deal with that sometimes other businesses do not have to deal with. And so the ability to have the data that they need to be successful in the light of all of those challenges is something that gives that justifies Qlik and AWS to be able to deliver those solutions so that they can address those challenges.
So I will add to that, right? Like what you asked before, how AWS and Qlik works well together. So everything which Chris just said here, market is so volatile, things are changing overnight, and customer needs to react to that quick, right? And that's where AWS brings in its power of on-demand scaling, right? Customer can scale up and down, they can change things and react to these market fluctuations in real time. And that's the power of AWS there.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so powerful to be able to see things and then act on them in such a timely manner. And sometimes that's the difference between life and death, especially in this industry. It can't be overlooked. When companies are considering that and that impact, is that the reason that they should truly consider transitioning to a cloud migration opportunity?
Sure, absolutely. So I will add something like what you say. Companies are, in our industry especially, right? It is lagging behind in a few things. We all know that, right? So there is infrastructure, there are tools, there are legacy systems which are ages old, sometimes even older than me. And what they do to get these systems don't talk to each other very well, right? They create data silos. Very siloed. They are very siloed. Yes, exactly. And that brings a security risk, like what you said. And in terms to handle that risk, there's a need of an hour for these companies to move to a modern infrastructure. Right. And companies are realizing that now. To make use of the new AI advancements we are making, they need to be in the cloud as soon as they can.
Yeah. What are some best practices or critical strategies, or maybe even some key lessons that have been learned through helping companies take on that transition?
Do you want me to start with that one?
Please.
Yeah. So I have seen some of the global challenges that our customers face, and that is many of our customers have operations in every part of the globe, and so cloud deployments to address the unique environments in each region of the world is something that is There's a lot of cost savings with cloud deployment. There's a lot of ease in management. And the consolidation of vendors, I think, is another key thing, because you might have many different vendors all around the globe, and that can be difficult to manage. And the procurement of those things and the maintenance of those things can be quite expensive. And so that right there is a justification for AWS, I would say.
So in terms of key challenges, something I mentioned before, right? The massive amount of data. And with that massive amount of data, companies are having a hard time having like a common view into it. So one of the challenges which our customer bring up to us every now and then is how to have like a single pane of glass to have a look at this data, how to control their data access in a common manner. And we made sure that our tools are flexible enough to allow customer to do that.
If a company is on the fence about taking that next step towards data modernization, prepping for AI readiness and machine learning and automation and all of those things that come along with it, what would you say to that company?
Getting your data ready for AI seems to me to be the step number one. Where many businesses' AI strategies fail is that the data isn't quite ready. It's not conformed. It's not in the curated landing zone. And so to me, that is a key reason, a catalyst to move to solutions on Qlik and AWS.
So it seems like data modernization is not just about establishing a cloud-based architecture. It's about overcoming some of those legacy challenges. It's a fundamental step towards, like you said, like unlocking that AI readiness and getting your data prepared. Is there anything else that you guys would like to add or say to a company that's in a legacy system right now?
The world is moving on. The world is moving fast. We are making so much progress on the LLM side of things, on the AI ML side of things. We have plethora of tools available to make it easy for them to get there, right? And there is not a good time to do that any day, right? It's always the day you start is the time when you'll realize that how many options open up for you, right?
Yes. The way that we typically will start projects is, after a deep requirements gathering, discovery gathering, and like I mentioned before, begin with the end in mind. What is the desired outcome? Why are we doing this in the first place? Many times we'll do a POC. We'll show them that it works before they decide to take the next step. To me, it's all about why customers choose us is for our flexibility. What might be one flavor of the month in the data warehouse this year, it might be something different 10 years from now. But the thing that Qlik has proven to our customers is that we have the widest breadth of data sources and connectivity to data targets, and the ability to standardize and normalize that data and make it available to its users in real time. That is the key difference that helps us be successful.
When we deal with our customers, right? When we start having conversations with our customers, they always bring us in thinking that we are going to solve a technical problem, right? But it's obviously more than that. We want to solve a business need.